All the whales, all the smart money, all the insiders in crypto seem to be doing the exact same thing right now, and I think it's very clear to see. So I want to show you guys a little bit of what we're seeing and why we might be at the very, very beginning of an unbelievable breakout, because it all does look like it could be pointing in that direction. So we'll go check out all the things that we're seeing today, and then of course hit the like and subscribe, all that type of good stuff as you start to go through if you do find the information useful and valuable. So first off, we'll take a look at the crypto bubbles. We can see actually a little bit of a green day here. This is a little bit of an uncommon sight. We've had a nice past couple of days, but haven't really seen particularly the alts doing particularly well. The alts have been getting smashed. So we could see a nice little move there. We are technically green on the week. I think this is primarily more because a couple of big gainers rather than an actual move up through the market. I think that's pretty clear to see here. Actually, probably more red bubbles than green here. It's just the green bubbles happen to be a little bit bigger than the red bubbles are. So that's kind of what we're seeing with that. If we do want to take a quick look at the market overview, we can see the market is overall in a similar spot. Now, the reason why it's super important to understand kind of where we sit in this market generally is to understand how things are looking and what could be happening next, right? And so the first thing we can see here, most importantly, is that if we look, the average RSI of the top 100 coins is 48.68. So almost exactly in neutral. We can see almost all of the coins are coiled within this space, only a very few kind of sitting up above and below. If we look at the crypto fear and greed index, we can also see it's sitting in greed. So 67 here, honestly, a little bit higher up than what I would have expected given kind of where we're at with the RSIs. I think this is primarily just because Bitcoin has been so strong basically this entire cycle. I mean, here you can see this is the last couple years price movement, about 3 years of price movement for Bitcoin. Obviously some major moves to the upside. Then we also can see open interest expanding kind of commensurate with that. Open interest is not actually at all-time highs quite yet, but we are hovering very, very close to all-time highs here. And then of course, last but not least, on our quick little market overview dashboard, we can see the Bitcoin exchange liquidation map sitting actually very, very even and very balanced, which means we're not really seeing a super strong pull one direction or the other from the market makers. They can kind of make the same amount of money going in any direction, so it does allow for the market to kind of move in whichever direction seems the most natural for the market at that point in time. We can also see similar here. I mean, basically almost exactly even again on both sides. So again, no like inherent bias for the market makers. And if we look at Bitcoin, we're actually seeing something that has happened 3 other times within the past year, I think, or maybe year and a half. We can extend it a little bit. But it's looking really, really good. So if we pull up here, we can see we were in a little bit of a descending channel. We've pushed up into it multiple different times now, really trying super hard to break through. And this appears to be the first candle that is kind of opened above this trend line. And again, you know, maybe we'll close above, maybe we won't. We don't know just because we haven't gotten there quite yet. But we are sitting in a really nice position here. Now, if you look, you can see this happening multiple different times. As recently as back here in early to mid-April. You can see here, same type of thing. We were in a descending channel like we were here. This is, of course, was a much more steep and dramatic descending channel, but it was a descending channel nonetheless. And you could see when we got towards the end here, we saw a whole bunch of kind of pressure and fighting to try and get through this trend line and this level of resistance here. Once we did get through this level of resistance, it was basically off to the races, going from lows of 74,000 on the 9th of April to highs of 112,000 on the 22nd of May. So it was a really, really pretty violent and strong move. We can see something very, very similar starting to happen here. Now you might say, okay, well, this was just 2 occurrences, that doesn't actually mean anything. Well, we actually also saw this again back here in late 2024. So we could see here a similar, partially different, but a similar type of move happening. We could see we were in this descending channel basically from about the early beginning part of March all the way until kind of like the middle-ish of October. And what we could see in the middle-ish of October is we saw a similar type of thing. We didn't see as much difficulty trying to break through. We kind of broke through, and then we kind of settled on this as a level of support for a little while. And then we had kind of this false breakout, a retest, and then we saw it kind of going off to the races, breaking 100K eventually for that first time, which is really cool to see. This was, of course, was a major milestone for Bitcoin as well as just crypto as a whole. So we can see there's plenty of like historical precedent, and there's plenty of data to show kind of exactly how this ends up working out. So of course, this is going to be a major point of contention. It is a major point of resistance, which is why we've already been rejected 6 times so far. So there is that possibility that we do get rejected and potentially come further back down into this descending trend line or into this descending channel as we have been seeing. But at least so far, it does look like we are in the right spot to have a similar type of move, not seen more than just a couple months ago. So, this is something that I'm definitely keeping a very, very close eye on. And I think a lot of people are keeping a very close eye on. We can see open interest is kind of high. It's spiked up a little bit. There's a lot of people taking a look here. There's, volume is down a little bit. So the market's kind of chill, but it's kind of like that deep breath before kind of the chaos breaks out, at least in my opinion. We also can see this a little bit through the altcoins as we were looking today. There is a little bit of some optimism kind of spreading through the alt market. We'll have to see exactly what happens here. But I think things are looking a little bit more optimistic for the alt markets as well. Now there's a couple of different reasons for this. I would say there's 2 positive reasons, and there's also maybe 1 potentially negative reason. We'll get into all 3 of them and what they could potentially mean each individually for crypto. So the first thing, probably the most bullish news of the day, and news I would possibly expect causing the rise of most of the altcoins that we're seeing, is there is a rumor circulating that Fed Chair Jerome Powell is expected to resign. Now again, this is just a rumor. We don't know this for sure. This is not confirmed, none of this. But this could be, obviously crypto moves very often and very violently off of rumors. And if this does happen to be true, this would be incredibly bullish or incredibly optimistic, I think, from the perspective of crypto holders and the crypto market. Because the problem is, and the thing that people have been screaming on about for months now, is inflation appears to be tamed. Let's go and cut rates. We haven't been cutting rates. This has kind of theoretically been potentially delaying the crypto bull run or a crypto alt season. Of course, Bitcoin has performed well the entire time, but alts have really not. And so this is one of the things that a lot of people have been claiming is, well, maybe this is something that could potentially spark that a little bit more optimism in alt season because the cost of capital is going to get lower. People are going to be looking in other places to seek premiums on their returns. So because of that, if we do see Fed Chair Jerome Powell resign, this could potentially send both markets as well as crypto flying because they know what that might mean. Trump will nominate somebody who is very, very gung-ho on the idea of cutting interest rates and potentially cutting interest rates incredibly violently. We know that Trump has been asking for essentially four rate cuts in one, an entire percentage point cut, all in one fell swoop. That to me seems maybe like a little bit extreme, but potentially, that is something that we could see. Now, also, we can take a look here, and this is going to be the second piece we see. The token distribution of the pump fund token. Now, potentially, they mentioned an airdrop. They have not mentioned the specifics of the airdrop, to be very clear, but they have allocated 24% for community and ecosystem initiatives. It's almost a quarter of the total supply. They also have a 33% at the initial coin offering. Of course, I'm sure this will go absolutely nuts, draw an insane amount of volume, and potentially do quite well for the overall kind of well-being of the token, I guess is the words I'm trying to find. Don't really kind of was lost for words there for a second, but we can see here is up to 24% potentially being sent as an airdrop. Now, of course, as we've mentioned in the past, airdrops are a huge thing for the crypto space because they can be kind of like this instantaneously wealth generating effect, particularly for people who use and trade a lot of pump fund tokens. So this is something that could potentially inject a ton of value and a ton of liquidity into the Solana ecosystem basically overnight. And so this is something that could very, very, very much have like a major impact on spurring and kicking off potentially a little bit of that alt season. And so again, this is one of those things where it happens kind of slowly and then all at once. And this is one thing in particular that I would say we should pay very, very close attention to, just to see how it kind of unfolds. Now, of course, we do have kind of another negative bit of news here, and that is the tariffs. Trump is now going out and kind of doing a list of announcements. I was trying to find a post that kind of encompassed all of them, but since it is a developing situation, there's kind of just a whole bunch of them. But he's going out and announcing tariffs on a lot of different countries. So this could potentially put a damper in some of our crypto aspirations. Again, we don't know for sure. We'll have to see. It's certainly too early to tell, but this is something that could have a very, very large impact as well. So that's what I've got today. If you are interested in trading any of these altcoins, Bitcoin, anything like that, of course, we do have BTCC. They are partnered with the channel. BTCC is a fantastic place to go. Up to 10% bonuses on first-time deposits, as well as $10,055 on deposit and trading bonuses. So a bunch of money that they're looking to throw at you if you are looking to trade. They also do have demo trading if you're just looking to kind of dip your toes in and not do anything, not do anything too crazy to begin with. So all of that links in the description below if you are interested. Also, I have been working with BloFin. I've worked with essentially a quant bot developer called Quantoshi. They've released the Sentinel. You can see here 100% win rate with a 6.68% max drawdown. And they're doing a currently 65.7% annualized ROI. Again, we don't know exactly how this is going to look over time, but there are only 200 slots. So if you are interested, you can feel free to click the link in the description below for that as well. To be clear, in order to access the profile, you need to sign up with my referral link, since they are kind of keeping this gated, pretty small, at least for right now. So if you are wanting to sign up, just feel free to sign up with my link in the description below, and you can go on ahead and try out this quant bot as well. So far, I've been monitoring it and tracking it and using it for the past couple of months. It's looked really, really well. It's performed quite nicely. So I'm definitely pretty excited to see how that goes. So overall, if you found the information in this video useful, of course, a like and a subscribe really does help me out, as well as if you have any comments, thoughts, questions, feelings, whatever, just drop those in the comment section below, and I will read and respond to all of those. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.